if we take away the secrecy around death and that we don't talk about it, or we say, yes, we're all going to die, but then we live as if we're not going to die. To live as if you're going to die is a whole different way of making choices about how you spend your time, with whom, how much, and when. And the when is important because some people you don't want to wait. You want to make sure that that happens, and you get your priorities really straightened around. I see it as, I mean, it's no great shakes that I'm in hospice care now, uh, but at the same time, it gives me a clarity that people who haven't acknowledged and embraced their mortality don't have. And all the time that we waste on things that we do to please other people, or we do because I've always done it, or well, it's expected. Those things go out the window. Now you get that crystal clear vision of what these precious hours, these sacred days, these impossibly rich moments can give if you choose wisely. And that's really, completing your life with you as the author. My my mother was embarrassed about her illness and about the indignities of cancer, and there are many. She had the same experience with three different primary cancer diagnoses that I've had. So we share this, crappy DNA. But for mother, she didn't want us to see her in the sick times. She kept us away, and I had my family and I moved to my nuclear family moved to Connecticut in 1992. And mother really got sick in 92 and 93. So I'd say, Mom, okay, I got the house all done. Can I come visit you? Oh, this isn't a good time. And she was on chemo and she didn't want to be there. But she did. She and my father came out to visit us in Connecticut at our new home. And they were going to stay a few, like 7 or 8 days. And after 2 days, my dad came in one morning and he said, well, we're going home tomorrow. I said, well, why? And he says, well, I just think it's better. Mother wants to go home now. Nothing else was said. They changed their plane reservations, all the plans I'd had for them to meet friends and neighbors and things that we had gotten to know in Connecticut out the window. Only later on did my older brother tell me, you know why Mom and Dad left early? And I said, not a clue. He says, because mother woke up that morning and her hair had started to come out from the chemo. And she didn't want you to see her with her hair coming out. And I thought, to be embarrassed. And, one more, yeah, there's a lot of indignities with being a cancer patient. But to cut your family off and not to continue to be who you are and present with the people you love seemed to be the saddest situation. And I determined that if that were going to be my path, and I, of course, didn't ever expect it to be. I thought I'm the healthy one in the family. I'm never going to get cancer. But I said, well, I'm staying with my life, my friends, and my involvements all the way to the end. And if I'm not doing that fully, it's not the end yet. A terminal illness hits people, you think, oh my gosh, it's just going to be this downhill slide. And for many people, that's almost the completion. They say, my life is over now, I'm dying. And and that happens more often than I would like to think about it. But I know people do kind of shut down and say, well, there's no reason doing this anymore, or, I'm not going to, participate in some of these other activities. And my feelings have always been my life will be completed when I no longer recognize it as my life. And if I recognize it as my life, I'm doing things, I'm participating in the things that give me joy, that I can make a difference in, and can give that purpose that gets me up in the morning when some days I really don't want to get up in the morning.
In an article we read, it felt like there was the three words that help us understand your experience, and they were autonomy and choice and sacred.
Yes.
And I thought that was a lovely way to help people understand in a clear way your message, if you will, and what's important to you. Autonomy, choice, and sacred. Could you explain what those words mean to you?
Well, autonomy is just every person has the right over their own body. This is not for the legislature. This is not for governors. This is not for lawmakers or other people to decide for you. Uh, when it gets down as close as my own corpus, it's my choice. And I want to go right to sacred because I believe that death is it's leaving the body. I think I'm more than just my body. And there are times when I think, boy, I'd like to get rid of my body now. It's really let me down. But it's as sacred of a rite of passage as the other ones that we celebrated, cultures have celebrated throughout lifetime. Certainly the Egyptians celebrated death a lot. They prepared for death by making all of these artifacts to take with them as they imagined what the afterlife would be. I don't have an imagination of the afterlife, but I definitely have a feeling that I want my final transition to be as sacred as any rite I have ever experienced, and that I can go into my death with an openness and a curiosity to whatever's next. And choice, of course. I feel like my whole life as an adult, I've been fighting for women's choice. And now these two issues of medical aid and dying and women's reproductive choice are so similar. It's other people deciding what we can do with our own bodies. The best part of a completed life, when you are planning ahead, you can have your family with you, well, for the good stuff. And for the times when, even though you're talking about something difficult, they can see that it's less than, this sad occasion. It's sort of a joyous occasion to be able to share. And for me, to make these, as long as these precious days go, as rich and as meaningful and as shared with the people that I want to share them with. That's big stuff. I can highly recommend it.